Across 17th century Europe, one name spread like wildfire: the Lisowczycy. For many, they embodied chaos and cruelty. For others, fearless warriors who knew no fear and no borders. A cavalry that appeared like a shadow and vanished just as suddenly, leaving behind burned villages and terrified people. This is the story of the Riders of Hell, men who carved their names into the memory of Europe. The year is 1607. The Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth is torn apart by wars, rebellions, and chaos. In these troubled times, Alexander Joseph Lisowski emerges, a man without land, an outcast yet a born warrior. He gathers around him men like himself, deserters, fugitives, outlaws. From them a formation is born, one that will forever change the face of warfare. Their tactics were simple: speed, deception, ruthless raids. They were not a regular army, they were a cavalry of wolves. The time of troubles, an age of chaos and an empty throne in Moscow. For the Lisowczycy, it was an opportunity. They swept east like a storm. Cities burned, people perished, and fear grew with every passing day. In a short time, they reached the very walls of Moscow, spreading terror and devastation. The Russians called them the Riders of Hell, a name that clung to them forever. They were not bound by homeland, they were bound by gold. When the Commonwealth had no use for them, the Lisowczycy sold their sabers elsewhere. The Habsburgs, locked in the 30 Years' War, hired them as allies. Soon Central Europe felt their methods: swift raids, burned villages, surprised enemies. In Hungary, their victory over Bethlen Gabal's forces decided the outcome of the campaign. For the emperor they were salvation, for the people a curse. The Lisowczycy were light, fast, and unpredictable. Armed with sabers, bows, muskets, and lances, they could strike suddenly and vanish before the enemy could regroup. They wore no heavy armor, instead choosing light garments often inspired by the East. They lived off loot, not waiting for pay. They took it themselves. And yet, despite their brutality, they were men of deep faith. Each day began with prayer and ended with fire and drink. They were a mixture of fanaticism, poverty, and lust for adventure. The further they rode, the more uncontrollable they became. Even their Habsburg allies began to despise them. Europe had had enough. Finally, in 1635, their formation was dissolved. Some perished, others scattered, serving in foreign armies. The Lisowczycy disappeared as suddenly as they had appeared, leaving behind a legend and a bloody trail that could never be erased. The Lisowczycy foreshadowed the modern art of guerrilla warfare. Swift, ruthless, elusive. They remain a symbol of both courage and barbarism. Were they heroes or criminals? History still offers no answer. But one thing is certain: the echo of their hooves still resounds in the history of Europe.